Hello everyone, Jimmy here from MgM. Today we are going to paint up some UN Raid Force Alpha for Blackout. Alright, today we're going to be achieving this paint job in a very fast and efficient way using Army Painter Speed Paint. We want to start from a Zenithal Prime where we have primed the miniature black and then come back over the top with some white. I used an airbrush here, but you could easily use a rattle can or even a dry brush. The first color we are going to use is going to be the Army Painter Speed Paint Sandgolum, and there's a few armor pieces that we are going to hit with this color. There's going to be some around the knees, around the shin, the chest, as well as the shoulders, and on the arms. Now, I am trying to be neat for the camera, but if you happen to spill over or if you're not very accurate with this color, it's not going to matter because we're going to use Grim Black next, and it's going to cover up any mistakes that you may make. The step only takes a few minutes, and you'll be ready to move on to our next color, which we just mentioned, the Army Painter Grim Black. Grim Black is one of my favorite speed paints. It does a really good job getting into the recesses, giving you a nice black, but also that gray color as well. Using straight black like an acrylic paint is really tough to work with because it is just a flat black the majority of the times and requires a lot of highlighting. Using this color, we will get the uniform, including the pants, as well as the shirt. It does not matter if you spill over here as well because the next color that we use is going to cover up. I do try to stay off the straps, but if I happen to spill over, not a big deal whatsoever. You'll use this color for the gun she is carrying, and you could use it for some pouches as well as the boots and gloves. Up next, we tackle the helmet, and on the box art, it is this blue kind of color, so we're going to use 1 drop of Magic Blue to 4 drops of Speed Paint Medium. The Speed Paint Medium comes in the Army Painter Speed Paint starter set, and it does a really good job kind of toning down the colors and really thinning out that speed paint a little bit. You'll see as this dries, it will be a nice light blue. Now, often while we're painting miniatures, we will find areas that we missed, and what I do love about these speed paints is they stay wet on your palette for quite a bit of time, so I grab the Grim Black and get this pistol on the front vest. I then go in with the Army Painter's hardened leather and get some of the straps that she is wearing, and the belt. You could also use this color to get some of the pouches that she carries as well. For a lot of the bags and pouches that she carries, I do like to switch up the colors a little bit so they're not all the same. I will use some with hardened leather, I will go back in with another color, satchel brown, and then camo cloak is another color that I switch into as well. It's more of a green camouflage type of color. Speaking of satchel brown, that is the next speed paint that I grab. I do use it for some of the pouches, the sheath on the knife, and I get the boots in this color as well as her gloves. Again, you could make these colors whatever you want. If you wanted them brown or black, the choice is totally up to you. The next paint up is the Army Painter's Plate Mail Metal, and I use that to get what appears to be some smoke grenades on the front of her vest. I also use it to get these jet packs on the back as well, as one of the viewers was kind enough to let me know what these are. Next, I grab the Army Painter Camo Cloak. I go in and get some of the Under Armour type of bits, and you could also use this again for gloves, for pouches. It is a nice camo green kind of a color. At this point, you want to tidy up any colors before grabbing a light sand kind of a color. I'm using Vallejo Iraqi sand, and it's just been my go-to for this step. I am lightly going to get most of the paint off on a paper towel and do a dry brush over the entire miniature, a very light dry brush. What this is going to do is give you a bit of a weathered effect. It is going to attach to the uniform, giving it a highlight, as well as the armor, the helmet. Everything is going to receive a slight highlight. The setting of this game is out in the world, and I envision them having this dusty kind of effect to them. Once complete, I'm going to continue with Vallejo Iraqi Sand. While it's still on my palette, I'm going to go through and give some broader highlights to the armor that she's wearing, as I wanted this to be a bit brighter than it is. This is what I would consider an optional step. I do leave the speed paint behind in the recesses. Another thing that I love about speed paint is when I do this, it acts as my base color as well as the shade. So if you want your armor to be a bit brighter, you can go around and tidy some of this up, just keeping within the lines and keeping out of the recesses. Up next, I go back to the Grim Black speed paint, as I wanted the respirators on the helmet to stand out a little bit, so I'm going to go through and just paint those black. Also, a step that I missed was Gravelord Gray, using that to go over all of the silver areas, the jetpack on the back, and then using Gravelord Gray to give a little additional shade to the helmet. You'll see me do that here. The Gravelord Gray does a great job giving us some additional shading in some areas that you want to stand out. I'll go back through with our Army Painter Plate Mail Metal and highlight some of those areas where I use the Gravelord Gray, including the jetpack. And then we'll move straight to the base, where I use the Speed Paint Fire Giant Orange, and I did base this prior to painting with Vallejo Earth Texture. If you do this prior to painting the miniature, it will capture a lot of the white that you spray from the top, and therefore the speed paint will take very well to it. If you wanted to add some highlights to your base, you could use the Army Painter Fanatics Lava Orange to do a quick dry brush over the top. That looks really good. I am going to use Vallejo German Gray to get the base, and then I'm going to apply some tufts. These tufts are from War World Scenics. I use them in a ton of my basing, and I'll put links for them down below in case you're interested in picking some up. And with that, our miniature is done. These take approximately 20 to 25 minutes using this method. You'll be able to get your UN forces knocked out very quickly and on the table. Hey, really appreciate you watching this video. Supporters Club, your names are on the screen now. It's by no means necessary. If you've watched the video this far, you've done more than enough to support the channel, so thank you so much. If you'd like to see more BLKOUT, please leave us a thumbs up. We look forward to making some more content in the future. As always, thank you for watching, and we will see you in the next one. Take care.